The people united will never be defeated.
The people united will never be defeated.
From Palestine to Mexico,
Palestine to Mexico,
all these walls have got to go.
all these walls have got to go.
Trump, Trump, you can't hide.
Trump, Trump, you can't hide.
You're committing genocide.
You're committing genocide.
If you believe in democracy, if you believe in freedom, we need you in the streets. And I'm not just talking about right now, I mean every single day. We need to be showing up and resisting until Mahmoud Khalil is free, until all migrants are free, until Palestine is free. Yeah, we're witnessing fascism in action, disappearing political dissidents, othering immigrants and people of color, denigrating academics and critical thinking, targeting trans and queer people who don't neatly fit into a gender binary, insisting on a return to so-called traditionalist values that strip women of choice, rampant corruption from bought politicians, and the rapid dismantling of the federal government, an obsession with labeling anyone considered undesirable as criminal, and the implementation of policy that criminalizes our most marginalized in our community. And mass media and so-called democratic opposition that is used to maintain a facade of decorum and normalcy as we literally slip and fall headfirst into mask-off fascism. We cannot cower in fear. We have to fight back. When freedom of speech is under attack, what do? When immigrants are under attack, what do? When our comrades like Mahmoud Khalil are under attack, what do? Now, I hope that some of you have read the statement from Noor, who is Mahmoud's wife, about her experience when Mahmoud was detained by ICE unjustly. If you haven't had the chance to read it, please go do so. But I wanna highlight a couple of things that she did say about him in her first media interview. Noor had this to say about her husband. He is the most incredible person who cares so much for other people. He is the most kind, genuine soul. I think it would be very devastating for me and for him to meet his first child behind glass. Abdallah also added that Khalil had insisted on doing all the cooking, the cleaning, the laundry throughout her pregnancy. She said, "I've always been so excited to have my first baby with the person that I love." She said, "Mahmoud is Palestinian and he's always been interested in politics. He is standing up for his people. He is fighting for his people." Noor also explained that 2 days prior to his abduction and detainment, Mahmoud asked her if she knew what to do if ICE came knocking on their door. And she was confused. She tried to reassure him that he wouldn't have to worry about that since he is a legal permanent resident with a green card. Noor said in her first media interview, "I didn't take him seriously. Clearly, I was naive." We have to be vigilant. We know that this administration is not going to stop with the targeting of Mahmoud Khalil. They will continue to target anyone who they decide is an enemy. And our power lies in our numbers, like Rafed was saying, in our willingness to push through our fear and resist. We have no time to waste, my friends. Who keeps us safe?
We keep us safe.
I said, who keeps us safe?
We keep us safe.
Who keeps us safe?
We keep us safe.
I also, this is just off the top, but I want to mention this because it's important. I'm a Mexican American. My father migrated here. My grandparents migrated here for a better life. They're from Villa Victoria, Mexico. My Papa Rafael came here on the Bracero program as a farm worker, and he saved up enough money to get visas for all of my aunts and uncles. And I was talking to my dad the other day, and he was naturalized when he was about 18 or 19. And he said when he took his test and got his citizenship, he had to hand in his green card, his visa card. And it had a picture of him at 3 years old, chubby cheeks, adorable, curly hair, and all I could think of is all of the children here who are not documented, all of the people who are going to be separated from their families. That is disgusting. It is deplorable. And we need to do something about that. So if you have the privilege, if you're a citizen, if you are white, if you're white passing like me, I'm going to need you to put your body on the line. I'm going to need you to be in front of the people who are most marginalized and are most affected because they need us. Who keeps us safe?
We keep us safe.
Who keeps us safe?
We keep us safe.
Chinga tu migra. Fuck ICE. Thank you.
Hi, everybody. My name is Marytere. I am a Scranton native. I was born and raised here in West Side. I am a descendant of immigrant parents. And I just wanted to come out here and talk a little bit about what my organization is doing here in the community, standing in solidarity with Palestine. We are Communidad Unida, and rising with our new political climate with the Trump administration. First-generation immigrants, Mexican Americans, and the Hispanic Latino community are being persecuted, targeted, discriminated, and it's looked at left and right nowadays. It's been here before since the beginning, and now it's like our everyday 24/7. As a immigrant child, I was born here in America, in West Side, and I was told that I was too Mexican to be American, that my food smelled funny, that my voice had an accent, and that I just didn't belong. But when I would go to Mexico and I would visit my roots, I was told I was too white, too American, that I wasn't of the people, of the raza. Now I'm being told by President Trump that I do not belong here, that my people, this isn't our land. How am I supposed to go back to a country that I wasn't even born in? I don't recognize that. When people tell me, go back to your land, go back to your country, this is my country. This is my land. So we wanted to come out today and bring awareness and recognition to what is happening, because this isn't just an immigrant migrant problem. This isn't just what's happening to us, but it's happening to everybody. And it started from the beginning, and it's only getting worse. And if we don't speak up and we don't say something and do something now, action now, nothing is going to change and everything is going to stay the same. So we are here standing with you today together because we do not believe that what is happening is right. We're all one human race. We all bleed the same color, and that is red. Doesn't matter the color of our skin, our culture, our background, our religion, our race, our ethnicity, what language we speak. We're all human beings. This was stolen land, and we're here together to stand in solidarity.
Hi everyone, my name is Xiomara. I'm also a member of Communidad Unida. Do you want to say hi?
Hi.
That's Nico. I fortunately am not directly affected by this. My parents were able to come to this land about 45 years ago, and they were able to legalize their residency and now citizenship through our great president, Ronald Reagan. I think a big reason why I was pulled into doing this is I'm a soon-to-be mother of two, and I feel like it then directly affects me because my children are all Mexican American, and I definitely don't want them growing up in a world full of hate where they are judged by the color of their skin, the way they speak, and what they eat. So for me, it's more so to teach my children to stand up for what they believe in, for their rights, for their roots, and to never be ashamed of where they came from.
Hi, my name is Marissa. I'm here to support my friends and their family. For the last 9 years, I've heard many stories of people struggling on their pathway to citizenship, hearing of people, their struggles and the discrimination that they faced. And we're just here to be united and bring together community and everybody that's here to support our immigrants, because they really do make our country so great. Thank you. Hello, everyone. My name is Michelle, and similar to so many stories around here, I am the daughter of immigrants. And while clearly what's going on has been affecting our community, and our goal out here, being with you guys here today, support the Palestinian cause, we recognize what the people of Palestine are going through. We recognize that clear injustices going on throughout the world today, and we're here to make sure the community hears our voice, to make sure hopefully our voices reach all the way to Palestine, and they know that there's a community out here trying to support them, that's fighting for their rights. Our goal through our organization as well is to make sure the community is informed, and also to make sure that our community knows that they have support here with us, whether they be undocumented immigrants or documented immigrants. We're here to support them in whatever way we can, and they are wanted and needed in our community.
Currently are living under an authoritarian dictatorship, basically, where one man's word dictates policy. One man and his gaggle of oligarchs are stripping away the rights and benefits that working people have fought so hard to secure. No one's going to save us. It is up to us. It is up to each and every one of you here to reach out to your friends, your community, your loved ones, and spread awareness of what's happening. Join local organizations, because you can't do this alone. It's going to take collective action and collective power in order for us to stand up and fight back. I am running in the Democratic primary for Scranton City Council, though. I decided to run partially because of what's happening on the federal level, but I've been organizing here in Scranton for nearly 4 years now, and the corruption on the local level itself is insane. One of my opponents running for city council, his uncle sits on city council. There's suspiciously another McAndrew who's county sheriff. So it's all the good old boys. It's the family members and the cousins. I'm running against the state senator's cousin too. So it's all a big inside game for these people. We do not have enough working class representation, not only on the local level, but also on the state and federal level as well. So I decided to do something about that. I decided to run for office. I haven't run for office before, and I didn't start getting really organized until a couple of years ago. Take a couple years, learn about your community, organize, stay engaged, and run for fucking office. Because it is about time that working people get what they deserve. Thank you, everyone.
ICE, KKK. IDF, they're all the same. ICE, KKK. IDF, they're all the same. From Palestine to Mexico. All the walls have got to go. From Palestine to Mexico. All the borders have to go. Free, free Palestine. Free, free Palestine. Free, free, free Palestine. Free, free, free Palestine.
Something else that I want to touch on is the illegal detention of green card holders that has been happening over the last week and a half or so. Started with Muhammad Khalil in Colombia for organizing protests, who's married to an American citizen who's 8 months pregnant with their child.
Shame!
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 Since then, a couple of other Columbia students have been detained on the same grounds, their green cards being revoked. An Indian doctor at Columbia self-deported after being told that her green card was revoked. A German immigrant, Fabian Schmidt, had his green card revoked for a marijuana charge in 2015 in California that was supposed to be expunged after the law was changed. Laws don't matter to these people. These are dictates policies. This is why I said we're living in a totalitarian state at this point. When edicts are proposed and dictated, we're no longer living in a democracy. It is up to each and every one of us to keep our community safe at this point. Thank you.
My name is Riley. My whole life, I have been considered unmanly and a half-breed for my indigenous and European ancestry, for my femininity and my bisexuality. I grew up on a reservation out on the West Coast, always living in close proximity to both indigenous and settler cultures. I grew up always being horribly teased and beaten up, treated as subhuman. I am of someone of disability status and of transgender identity. I was beaten so many times growing up for just being as I was, a human with differences, different from the status quo. Differences that I understand now as a victim and also a perpetrator of colonization. As fate would unfold, I served in the U.S. Armed Forces in administration as a way to escape my conditions. I was not good at much, but I was good at weapon systems, and I was also good at following orders. I was trained on the M203, the Mark 19, and on the M2. And I would later become an assistant armorer in my unit. I was recommended for sniper school by my sergeant major, a recommendation that thankfully was ignored by my chain of command, who wanted my skills to be more localized. My skills became the skills My skills became the skills of others as I was tasked with training other soldiers on various ranks on the various Western weapon systems that I was proficient with, most notably the Mark 19 belt-fed grenade launcher and the M2 50 caliber machine gun. These skills were then used by personnel that I taught against what I thought was the enemy in Iraq. I was later medically evacuated from Iraq for experiencing indirect fire that gave me yet another traumatic brain injury and ruined my lower back. The ethnic cleansing taking place in Gaza taught me the cruelest lesson in reality of all, that these weapons may have been used against innocent children in a nation illegally invaded that had nothing to do with the World Trade Center, who were only attacked based on confabulations from Iraq of there somehow being the presence of WMDs. Whether directly or indirectly, I have the blood of the innocent on my hands and soul, blood that will simply not come out in the wash. It was my childhood and my experience as a young adult that brings me here to say that what is taking place in Gaza is nothing less than an act of premeditated genocide under the leadership of a political ideology, not a faith that remains a beacon of hope for those that follow its sacred teachings. It is not the fault of Christians around the world that Zionists and Christian nationalists have united as one to wage brutality against those who were deprived of safety, life, land, faith, and culture within their own nations, guided by the sacred text of their own beautiful religion of Islam. It is through my experience that I stand here today to say that each and every life under occupation is valid, is as human, and it is as precious as those that live as civilians of the occupying force. I say as a veteran, and I say as a descendant of genocide, and as a citizen of our nation complicit in the genocide in Gaza, that all lives are created equal in the eyes of God, of the God we all pray to through the various pathways of faith that we subscribe to in some way or another. It is through this unity of faith and humanity that I declare that Israel and the United States must cease all acts of oppression against all the children of God who live on the earth created by God, regardless of their national borders, regardless of their ethnicities, or regardless of their religious beliefs. For far too long have empires played the part of God, using politicized faith as a vessel for hate and harm against the poor of the earth. Today holds true that the image of old empires who have ended due to the brutality and opulence enjoyed by the ruling class, whether it was the Roman Empire, the German Empire, or old world feudalisms. It is only the symptoms of a dying empire to lash out in such brutality in mass persecution of immigrant and marginalized communities absorbed and subjugated through war and violence, and of course through the unleashing of one last catastrophic war, all in an attempt to save itself before it falls from the grace it so desperately projects. It is through our shared experiences that we find intersectionality, and together as humanity, we are here to say the following to the ruling class. Get your hands off the innocent poor. Cease your barbarism against innocent migrants who lured from their nations for promises of a better future only to be deported once they are squeezed for all they can produce. Cease your bloody wars and cease your bloody wars that cause irreparable harm for generations to come. Submit to the will of the people, for we are not your servants. We are the nation of builders and the working class that keep it running. None of humanity deserves to live in fear under the barrel of your guns. So you may extract all that you like from us, including our very lives. Free Palestine, free Mahmoud Khalil, and free us all. To close this out, let's get loud and say with our collective voices as one, when all of humanity is under attack, what do we do?
Stand up, fight back!
What do we do?
Stand up, fight back!
Thank you.
It is another day of the genocide. I mean, everybody thought in the ceasefire, or most of us at least, it is over. And kind of they're going to get a break for a little while. It is never over. We expected that they will be back. We expected that they'll be back. I myself didn't expect it that soon. But the agenda is obvious from the Israeli occupation. It is really they want to clear the land from any single human being called Palestinian. And that is happening also in Jenin, in Tul Karam, in Qalqilia, in Tubas. Let's not forget what is happening in the West Bank. As soon as they stopped ceasefire, as soon as they stopped basically actively attacking in Gaza, they turned their war machine in the West Bank. And there is actually even asked to the neighboring country, King Abdullah, Sisi, and even Somalia. They asked Somalia to take actually 500,000 or so of Palestinians. So they are actively trying to clear it. Now we do know that Netanyahu is part of his personal agenda is that he want to get away from prosecution, and the war is good for him. For America, America always been known involved in wars that shouldn't be involved in. That is not the first time. After World War II, we got involved. We actively invaded actually over 35 countries after World War II. And these countries all done nothing to us. Done nothing to the United States, no security threat, nothing. I do know some people think probably Trump is worse. Actually, it is the same. The only difference between Biden and Trump, or Republicans and Democrats doing it on a slower pace, the Republican accelerating the process of Palestinian extermination and also trampling on the Constitution, arresting people for no reason, like Muhammad Khalil. No legal pretenses, no charges, nothing, and they just grabbed him. Basically, they are actively they are acting in the United States and conducting sanctioned kidnap to citizens. That's exactly what it is. It is sanctioned kidnapping by the United States government to American citizens. And even though he's not an American citizen, but yet, according to the Constitution, even a green card holder can still exercise the freedom of speech. Now, they did also have some other cases of arrest for, by the way, for citizens and green card holders. I don't have the names, but there was incidents of also snatch and grab, basically, of activists, and they put them away for the same reason or no reason at all. Because in this case, there is no reason at all other than basically speaking up against oppression. Now, I would like to speak a little bit of something about political activism. When you are in a stadium, every fan added to the fan base, it amplifies that stadium chant, and it becomes deafening. That's what needs to happen here. The thousands should become hundreds of thousands. The hundreds of thousands should become millions, and should even basically multiply more until it becomes deafening to them to ignore it. Right now, unfortunately, there is not enough of us. There is not enough of us. The United States, according to its population, 350 million people, in order to make impactful change to any government, to any system, you need to have 3.5% of the population at least actively participating in political activism and protesting or encampment and other activities, basically, to bring down the government and force their hand to stop whatever it is they're doing. So the magic number is 35 million American citizens that needs to be actively involved against the government. And yes, it is. I know they hate that word. Well, it is. It's going to be a revolution. It has to be. Because there is no nation on earth became that aggressive and that hostile, even with its own citizens, lasted forever. And there is no nation of earth, there is no dictatorship, no authoritarianism, no system of government was changed just by a few thousand people or a few 10,000s of people. It is not going to happen. It needs active participation from larger portion of the population. And change is going to happen, but it needs more work. It needs more participation by people. It needs active participation. Don't be afraid of them. They don't really have power. The power they have, the American citizens conceded their power to the powerful, what they call powerful or the elite. It is your fault they have that power because you conceded your power to them. You want to take it back? Take the streets. You want to take it back? Do encampment in university. You want to take it back? Shut down the damn DC. Shut it down. That's how you take it back. There is no change that will come without sacrifice. Every nation liberated itself from dictatorism, from authoritarianism, from government that is oppressive without paying a price for it. And that is the price. Hell, the Palestinians paid so far over 200,000 people. A little over a year and a half, over 200,000 people. I was on the phone with Gaza in the first night of the return of the active bombardment. Within 24 hours, Khan Yunis alone gave 275 martyrs. The first night. At other areas became 450 by dawn. I mean, this is a huge number. They started, if you could think about it, within 24 hours. If you have 450, basically they bombarded everywhere in Gaza simultaneously. And they don't even dare at this point, they think twice about going inside Gaza to ground invasion. Because they know their army is not made for ground invasion or for fight. They can only attack civilians from up above. Even civilians, they don't face them. They actually attack them by air and by strategic missiles, by their basically warships from the sea. Their war is against women and children. That's what their war is. These are coward people. They have no principle. They have no regard to humanity. And they are not a state. It is a colony. Please refrain from using the state of Israel. No, it is a colony. It is not a state. Just because the United Nations decided to give a piece of land that they don't own, and the British and the Americans, to another group of people called Zionists, that does not make it a nation. Just because they said so. Because that very same UN, it was also established by the very same imperialist forces that divided many countries around the world. So no, if you don't like to hear it, well, sucks for you. It is not a state. It is a colony. By definition, it is a colony. An occupation force don't have the right to defend itself. They cannot claim self-defense. And yes, the Palestinians have every right to raise their weapons, to fight with everything they got, until they take every single last Zionist out of their land. And it will happen. I'm sorry for taking so much time.
We love you, Rafed.
It's just, honestly, there's so much about this thing to say. I mean, there's not enough time even to say it every time. I mean, I don't know what it takes to this nation to have basically to hit reality, for reality to hit in their mind, to set in their mind, and take the streets. I don't know. It's mind-boggling. I mean, look at the economy. Most of American households are basically deep in debt. Everybody pay gas bill over $500, on an electric bill over $300, and even those who make $15, $20 an hour, if you calculate it, it is not enough. It is not enough, not even for utilities. So what the hell are you waiting for? If you're deep in debt, your economic situation sucks, you can't even buy a gift for your kid. That's the goal. But what are you waiting for? What are you waiting for? That is the time. That is the time to change the government. And remember the French Revolution. The French Revolution, the Queen starved them. The Queen starved them. And what happened? They took the street, and that brought to them the famous French Revolution. I mean, I don't get it. People, when they get pressured economically with their food table, with their children, they should actually revolt. That is a natural result, a natural actually reaction from people. I mean, how long is it going to take for us to reach to that point? We're already here. With that, I'm going to say this. There is only one solution.
There is only one solution.
Intifada revolution.
Intifada revolution.
There is only one solution.
There is only one solution.
Intifada revolution.
Intifada revolution.
And by the way, that doesn't apply just for Palestine, it applies everywhere, including here in the United States. So yes, revolt, take the streets, take down the government, Republican or Democrat, don't matter, they don't work for the people again, make them work for the people. UDRF.org, and there is videos there, contents, there's our Facebook and our Instagram, our TikTok page. Everything we do is published in there. if you know somebody, I'm not going to here pitch you something or ask you to donate, no. But if you know somebody who are able or financially capable and for the cause and would like to support, feed children, women, and civilians, please direct them to udrf.org/donate. We do not have a paid staff. There is no salaries. Basically, 90% plus of the donations goes to the cause, to whatever campaign you put in, whether it's Gaza, Syria, Sudan, Congo, Lebanon, Afghanistan. We have campaigns for all these countries that America devastated. Okay, that's the point. So please spread the word. Try to visit the website and share it with others. We also have IPAC. IPAC is Integrity Political Action Committee. The organization goal is to, you can think about it as a political movement to lobby for the right reasons. Unlike AIPAC, AIPAC lobbies for a singular issue or singular entity, Israel. We trying to lobby for the American people, to support candidates that truly represent the American people, such as Jose, goodness, I forgot his last name already. Jose Garza, he is running against Torres in the Bronx. And that's one of the candidates we met with, and we will be supporting every way we can. And so as for local candidates. Hello, sir. If there is local candidates, such as our brother here, Frankie, he is going to run for council in the city of Scranton. So we will be, of course, working with Frankie to support his campaign because he is truly represent the people. We like to, of course, partner with the folks who do not, who put the interest of the people before the interest of the party. I neglected earlier to say something about ICE. Isn't it ironic that ICE going after Latino Americans like Mexicans, Venezuelans? I mean, not too long ago, half of the United States was actually part of Mexico. I mean, seriously? Seriously. I mean, not too long ago. It was, for all I care, Mexico could rule the United States and replace this fascist government. Honestly. I would beg them to do that, actually, if they could. Yeah, please, come on. Take it over. Take it all. Honestly, you would be better rulers than what we have right now, because what we have right now is fascist government. And by the way, for some of you who thinks, for instance, CIA does not operate on American soil, you are mistaken. The CIA operating on American soils, and yes, they do illegal stuff against citizens, and yes, they traffic drugs into the country. Yes, they do. They are involved in that. They accuse lying Americans, I'm sorry for lying Americans, they accuse lying Americans of racial profiling or certain profiling or bringing us problems and drugs and whatever. No! The drugs actually coming from our very own CIA that works with the cartel in Colombia and in Mexico. Who are you kidding? Honestly, please have Mexico rule this country. Thank you so much, everybody, for listening. And yes, change needs to happen. The sooner the better, before we fall off a cliff really hard. Thank you.
My name is Steve Corbett. I live in Scranton. I'm a long-time journalist, periodista. Viva Mexico! Viva Palestina! I want to point to the flag, the tricolor Irish flag that's flying. Very similar to the Mexican flag. A little bit of a color, very similar to the Palestinian flag. A little bit of a color. I want to point out that my grandfather, James P. Corbett, came to Scranton over about 100 years ago. He came from Ireland as an immigrant. He came to mine coal underground here in Scranton, Pennsylvania, as did immigrants from Germany, from England, from Wales, from Italy. You name it, they came. And they worked for the rich coal bosses. I want to tell everyone here, as I get older, you younger people have a responsibility to remain true to your ethnic heritage, whatever it is. You have a responsibility to stand up against imperialism in Gaza or imperialism by the United States of America. Was one of the most highly decorated cops with respect to the police on the scene right now. My father understood his ethnic heritage. My father stood for fairness, for justice, for bravery, for courage. So all of you, all of us, are in this together. Depend on each other. Stand with Mexico. Stand with Palestine. Stand with all immigrants who need our help. Don't let them scare you. Don't let them buy you. Thank you.
Everybody's got to come together. That's our only hope. Obi-Wan Kenobi, this evil empire, you know? And this is not, you know, as Americans, we've always thought, oh, God, we're great. We help each other. We this, we that. You know, we were really fed a line. And, yeah, but that's not what's really happening. We've been divide and conquer. You know, we have politicians trying to separate us. You're a Democrat, you're a Republican, you're this, you're that color, you're this sexuality. It's just all garbage, and they've been trying to separate us. But if we all come together and we reach out to other groups, and we just have to talk to everybody, like you said, introduce yourself to people, talk to people. Everybody may not have the same cause, but we all have the same oppressor. And so if we go for the oppressor, instead of just our cause, maybe we can get somewhere.
Like the chant says, we're all Palestinian because they're human, we're human, it's the same blood. And for our immigrants, no matter where you live, you're a human being. This is all land. And it's stolen land, like she said earlier. So we need to keep being their voices. We need to keep speaking up. We need to keep showing up. And I'm really proud of all of you guys for coming out today. And please continue to come out until we reach our goals. Thank you.
There's a new Scranton sub-office for ICE that's happening in 44th. They've been in contract negotiations for 2 years, 20 feet away from the airport there on Wyoming Avenue. So this is happening in our backyard, in our community. I'm pretty sure DHS operates out of the federal courthouse right there along with the FBI. I know the FBI does. So this isn't a faraway issue. This is something that's happening in our community as well. So we need to remain vigilant. We need to track ICE if we see them. They previously used to launch from the Sheraton Hotel, Radisson Hotel, right here when you come into Scranton. In the back, they would load up their gear. The federal government has a contract with that hotel, so they stay there overnight. And the Hilton? And the Hilton. Thank you, Holly. So keep your eyes vigilant. If you see a car like that, tag one of the groups that were here today, and we can help disseminate that information to try to keep us safe. Because who keeps us safe?
We keep us safe.
Who keeps us safe?
We keep us safe.
Great job, everyone. Yes, go ahead, Alec.
There is a Migra Watch hotline by United We Dream. If you look that up, it literally is just a hotline for you to tell them, hey, I've spotted ICE in this area, for a way to them to get it like disseminated to people. And they also run an app called Notifica. It does the same exact thing. Download that shit on your phone. Let people know. Obviously, don't spread any misinformation, but we need to be informed if we're going to keep each other safe. So those are two sources. United We Dream's Migra hotline, and then Notifica is the app. Notifica.
Okay.
Yes.
So if we see something happen with ICE and some of our Mexican neighbors, what do we do?
You should film. You should film what's happening. You should also, if you, there's a lot of different sources. I can talk to you after, but there's a lot of different sources on like Know Your Rights. Hey, look, hey, look, Frankie has some know your rights cards. Literally something you can do is shout to them as it's happening. You can say, you know, they need a warrant in order to arrest people. It has to be signed by a federal judge. Don't let them in. You don't have to open the door to them. But that's what you can do is film the interaction, shout out the rights that people have. Everyone in this country has rights under the Constitution, whether they're documented or not. I know it doesn't feel that way right now, but the best thing we can do is to try to assert them.
There is an upcoming event with the very well-known Palestinian activist who was a former IDF soldier, Miko Pelad. Miko Pelad, we are hosting the event as organization, IPAC, Integrity Political Action Committee, at the East Stroudsburg University on April 17th, 5 to 7 p.m. If you go to the website, ipac7.org, under events, you will be able to add it to your calendar. We're hosting him for the first time in our area, and he will be speaking about Palestine. And I would like to just mention a few more things. I'm sorry to probably hold some of you here, but feel free, it's not important. I just wanted to make a few things clear. As far as Trump supporters or the MAGA Republican and MAGA Blue, because there's MAGA Blue too, not just MAGA Republicans, by the way. I'm aware that there are voters, many voters right now, they are unhappy with Trump, despite they don't agree with us on Palestine. Sure, they don't. But have them understand one thing. When the government start cracking on dissidents for a certain cause, it is basically open field, free for all. It's going to be free for all, and they're going to crack on every single cause. If one cause they don't agree with, there's a list of causes they don't agree with at all. And they're going to also crack on these dissidents. Support for whatever cause, noble cause that you support, whether it's Palestine or others, keep up the good work, please, and keep active and keep the pressure up, and don't fear Trump or anybody else. Thank you.
United will never be defeated.